Acha, can you give me an idea as to how much solid ground are we standing on in 2024 as Indians? Like, how solid is the economy?
Yeah, I think there are long-term, short-term, medium-term. You can look at broad fundamentals. We are solid, broadly speaking. Why do I say we are solid? At a macro level. So take any parameter. Take our trade. We have current account deficit, which is 1.5%. We should have a deficit, by the way. A growing country should have a deficit.
Explain the deficit as in more imports than exports.
More imports than exports, which is good. We are importing machinery and all because we need to grow.
Yes.
We are not in a situation. See, current account surplus is you're sending savings somewhere. Why do we need to send savings elsewhere? We need money here.
Yes.
And which should be manageable. So external trade looks good. Forex reserve are like $700 billion. We were at 200, not, which is fine. Rupee is stable. Inflation is under control. Our banks are in very good health. Firms are in very good health. If you look at firms now, one of the consequences of IBC, I have a paper on that firms now started putting more of equity. Earlier, they had also become like banks. बैंक से पैसा लो, restructuring करो, खुद का कुछ नहीं डालो. अगर कुछ हुआ, डूब गया बैंक. Now they have put in their own capital. The firms, generally firms have more capital now. So their ability to withstand shocks have increased.
Firms as in businesses.
Businesses.
Economic term is firms.
Economic terms. Yeah, that's a firm. Businesses have more capital.
Right.
So that way they are, in general.
And is India richer individually?
Individually, yes. In terms of what we were 10 years ago, we are definitely richer.
And where are we lacking, sir?
Yeah, lot of things. So there is. Does it mean, can it not be better? Of course it can be. In fact, I feel as I said, Modi too, I'm not as
bigger fan
or sometimes I'm a critic also. Is one of the things that while they solved access to savings, they have not been able to solve access to credit. Now, these two are very different. Access to savings is the person, the saver has to trust the bank.
Right.
That's easy. People trust the government banks. Right? Access to credit is reverse. The bank needs to trust the saver, the borrower. Right? Access to credit, you can't do this through a mudra kind of a scheme. You can't just force the banks to lend and you hope that it will lead to entrepreneurship and things like that.
Right.
You need a credit infrastructure. You need a solid credit infrastructure. You need ways to lend. You need more banks, banking competition, more smaller, the banks that we have, we are going in the reverse direction. We are making banks larger. Larger banks are very inefficient ways of financing small firms.
You need a lot of smaller banks.
You need US has thousands of banks.
Right.
You need smaller. See, the way small financing works is called relationship banking. It doesn't work on collateral. See, this collateral is and many people in RBI and others don't get this point. They think, आपने 100 रुपए का security रखा है, and I've given you 80 rupee loan, I'm safe. But they don't understand that when you default, that 100 rupee security will not sell at 100 rupees.
It will sell at 50 or 40.
40, you're not safe at all. Collateral does not, collateral, we should value. Collateral is in distress, what will be the value of that? Even land, if it's a large land, you won't be able to sell at this, small lands, multiplying this, whatever this area rate and with the acres of land, if the land is large, you won't be able to sell it. So access to credit requires relationship banking. Smaller kind of lenders should be able to understand the borrower and then lend based on cash flows. We need to promote cash flow based lending. That is the only way. In fact, by the way, I'm a very big fan of Raghuram Rajan as a researcher. We learn a lot. Unfortunately, people who both praise Rajan, criticize Rajan, don't read his papers.
They focus on the policy.
Policy and what he says in newspapers and all.
Right.
He has an amazing paper, which is very recent in the Journal of Finance. People should read it. What he shows is, as a country develops, it is cash flow, it is the proportion of secured lending goes down, not goes up.
Secured lending as
based on collateral.
It goes down. So
it goes down.
Borrow less by giving capital, by giving security.
You will be able to raise based on cash flows. In an ideal situation, some banker should be able to interview Prakhar, assess your ability, know you very well and lend you, based on your cash flows. Right? That is the contract bank should be able to do it. If you have a large monolithic bank like a SBI, they will not waste time on understanding, who you are, what is your business and all that. You need specialized smaller banks and ability to lend based on cash flows.
business health. Cash flow is business health. Makes sense.
business
हाँ,
health,
हाँ, right.
Now what we are doing, our lending is collateral based. Now if you, and the RBI and even the government continuously, sort of discourage cash flow based lending. They increase capital requirement for, unsecured lending. On the one hand, we say we want fintech and all of that. The whole idea of fintech is what? Information. Looking at your GST, looking at your mobile, looking at all of that, I will understand your credibility. Now, but at the same time, if you penalize uncollateralized lending, then there is not going to be growth. So one of the areas where I've seen, I think we have come backwards, especially in the last 2-3 years, is this credit.
So we are not giving access to credit as well.
We are not giving access to credit.
Which is preventing entrepreneurship and risk taking in some way.
We are doing through government-sponsored schemes. That is not the solution.
वो तो social welfare है.
वो तो bank account, it was a market failure. Complete market failure. हो नहीं रहा था. Modi ji forcibly did it. I will remain a fan of him forever just for that. Credit ऐसे नहीं होता. You can't tell the banker कि आपको इतना देना है दे दो. Then वो किसी को भी दे देगा. Then you will have another problem. I don't know what is happening in Mudra loan. Bankers will find a way evergreen the loan. Give you another loan.
Yeah,
फिर से target मिला another loan. So
ठीक.
that is not going to solve the problem.
Right.
Credit problem is you should have the smaller lenders who should be able to assess your cash flows and should be able to lend to you.
Okay.
That infrastructure we are discouraging sadly. आप नहीं सुनते क्या? Yes, 2 days ago also there was an NBFC which was shut down. We are trying to shut down NBFCs. We are going, and government is also merging banks and making them larger. Right? So access to credit is my bigger complaint that I have. If we don't improve on that, we will not have growth. We will have monopolies.